Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well. So, the season has started. The season has started, but it's not started with a bang. It started with a 0-0 draw. And it's not great, but it's not the end of the world either. I feel like it's very, very important to make clear because we done the watch along. Many thanks to everyone that was on there and big up to every single one of you. But there was a mixed reaction. A reaction of, okay, look, it's slow, but don't worry. And a complete other extreme of, we're crap, we're panicking. There's no need to panic. First and foremost, and I want to start off with this, it's day one of the Premier League season. It's day one, okay? Do we want more? 100%. Could we have done more? Yes. Why didn't we do more? I'm going to come to that. But in the grand scheme of things, this result today, yes, we wish we had more chances, got a goal, really, really, played in a way that I think we should have. But a draw against this Crystal Palace team, who I want to start off with as well and give loads of respect to, because I feel like they're getting lack of respect. This Crystal Palace team are a strong team. And they showed up today in a way that I didn't think they would. I thought that they would show up, but eventually they would wear out. 90 minutes. I thought maybe by 70, 80 they would wear out. Nope, they were there until the end. Until the end. They were physical in our faces. They were pressing. They were aggressive. They were showing intensity. They were just not letting us play at all. But that's something that requires a lot of physical work. You'd think that would run out. It just didn't. That's why they deserve the praise and the respect. This is a Crystal Palace team that won the FA Cup in the way that they won the FA Cup. We saw that. They went and they beat Liverpool in the Shield last week. And we saw that. And then we're going to just today pretend that they're just a small team and we should have just got a win because they're a small team and it's Crystal Palace. No, 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 no. They done one thing better than us today that made the whole difference. And that was physicality. Urgency. Urgency comes from, you can be urgent and still get restricted. And I feel like that was us. Crystal Palace, though, they were just stronger. They were just there. Every single first ball, every single second ball, every single challenge, every single time we're on the ball, they're in our faces. Even tactically, Oliver Glasner had a very good setup in terms of trying to just keep us at bay. The midfield free, constantly shifting. Whatever side we go down, whether we go down the left-hand side or we go down the right-hand side, or whether we switch. But there's always three men in the midfield that are right there. Then you try to shift it over to the right-hand side. Two of them shift over. Another one joins them, and now you're facing free again. You just can't get through. And then it's a case of just spamming the ball over, which I don't feel like we've done enough, to be honest. And maybe if we got the lap on a little earlier, we might have been able to make a little chance or two out of that. But that wasn't the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution, two things. You want to match them with the energy, which we didn't do. Or you want to start the game with ballers that are able to beat those type of players on the ball. Which is where we turn to the way that we started the game. Because the lineup that we started was pretty predictable. I got 10 out of the 11. I didn't put Gittins. I went to start with Estevao. And that's something that I think now, after watching the whole game, we can agree should have been the case. Estevao starts, man. And for the reasons why I just said what we needed to beat Crystal Palace. Gittins today didn't quite show that. When you're looking today at some of the performances, if we're going to be completely honest and transparent, because there were a couple of good performances, I would give credit to Josh Achiempong in the role that he played today, which was new to him. But he done well. Caicedo, in terms of cleaning up and winning the ball off Crystal Palace in times where they looked threatening, was doing that brilliantly. when I'm looking at the others, Enzo Fernandez, for example, had a stinker. Overall, stinker. You could argue that Santos could have been brought on earlier, and maybe that would have made a difference. And we saw Santos towards the end of the second half, and that looked more dynamic. Gittins is raw. Gittins is still... I don't want to get too on the case of players that have just started, right? This doesn't include João Pedro or Liam Delap because they're already adapted to the Premier League. I'm talking about players that have just walked in straight into the Premier League. But you can see the difference between a Gittins and an Estevao. Gittins is a player that suits certain games. Today was not that. When you have a game against a team that is willing to come at you, that is willing to open up the space, that is willing to play with a little bit of a high line perhaps, you put Gittins there and he's probably scoring 2. Because straight line speed, Gittins is fast, quick. But on the ball, you get him face to face with a defender that he's not running at. If he's running at someone, he's able to get past because he's quick. But when he's face to face with someone and he's on the ball, get him to dribble past that player, it looks like he struggles there. Which, to be fair, was the overall feeling when we went in for the player. But we know the type of player that we have there. This is why I feel like Chelsea are perhaps going in for someone like Garnacho. Because Garnacho is a different mold. Garnacho is someone where, okay, on the ball there, he might actually deliver a trick or two. Estevao is exactly that. And when you're playing against a team like Crystal Palace, who are physical, who are in your face, who are not giving you space, who are not letting you play, you have to create. There is no other solution but to create. Estevao is someone that, when he came on, you saw the impact that he had. I would have liked to have that from the start. I think if we had that from the start, we might have got something. João Pedro was someone who was silenced today, pretty much. Silenced. And why? Physicality. Because the centre-backs that he was around today were just constantly on his case. Liam Delap come on, and he looked a little bit brighter. And why? Because Liam Delap is a physical specimen. So much so, the only shot on target that we had today came from Liam Delap. When he took the ball round and took the shot, and you could argue he could have finished it better, maybe pick a corner, but he went with the lace of his boots and he just hit it and it went to the keeper. So these little things, you look and you go, yeah, these are the things that we could have done better. But these are lessons learned. These are lessons learned going into West Ham, for example. We didn't lose, albeit Crystal Palace scored the free kick. A free kick that should have been given, but a free kick that was given. And Eze takes the shot, and you'd argue Sanchez needs to get a hand on that. You know, especially for shot stopping where he's normally good. He should get a hand on that. But it gets disallowed because of Mark Gurhey. 1 meter rule wasn't adhered to. And referee goes to VAR, checks the VAR. Mark Gurhey's blocking the view. Sanchez is restricted. And it means that the goal is disallowed and the free kick is not even retaken. So it goes to 0-0. After that, though, it was a case where, look, the way that we ended the game was brighter than how we started it. But this is going to form in terms of how we move forward going into the next games. But what I want to stress is we cannot come to an assumption, good or bad. If we had won 2 or 3-0 today, people would be like, oh my God, we're winning the league. I'd be telling you guys like, no, relax. Relax. You have to give the window of 6 to 7 games. 6 to 7 sounds about right. 5 for me still too soon. 8, I feel like you have an idea by that point. So that sweet spot for me, 6 games or 7 games, that is when you begin to see where is your season heading. For the people panicking, if you was here in the Conte season, after 6, 7 games, you guys would have been panicking. You'd have been saying, oh my God, we're getting relegated. Which is where it looked like it was going, wasn't it? And then we got killed to Arsenal. We lost 3-0. What happened? One tactical decision, 30 games remaining, and we blitzed those 30 games. Blitzed it. Because of one tactical adjustment. These things can happen. We didn't lose today. We took a point. Cool. We move forward. 37 games to go. It's fine. It's fine. But the lessons learned today, and I don't know if this has got anything to do with the Club World Cup or pre-season or whatnot, but we need to improve in terms of physicality. We need to show more presence. We need to be in the faces of the opponents a little bit more. That does come hand in hand with taking a little bit more risk and not playing it too safe. That is important. And we need to pay attention to the players that are actually making impact in these sort of situations. Estevao Willian, for me, has to start. It's clear. He's ready. He's ready. He's a natural. Ready. I would. Pedro Neto is fine for me. Today he looked bright. Pedro Neto had a good game. Very good game overall. But these things, we're going to be picking up lessons game in, game out. The only thing is that we don't take too long to learn these lessons. I would rather we have a game like today on match day 1 than to wait till match day 10. I would rather this. Because there's things that we can rectify by the West Ham game on Friday. So it's cool. No need for any panic stations. Relax. Absolutely fine. 37 games to go. We pick up what we pick up. We need more physicality. We need to use the creativity that we have. We need to use the squad. We still got Xavi Simons and Garnacho who will be coming in. We'll see how they're going to integrate. But I think today gives you an idea of where exactly those players are going to fit. Gittins is raw. He needs time to adapt. And I feel like there's only certain games that will fit the profile that he has where he will make an impact. But in other games, he won't make much of an impact. And the midfield battle is also another thing to look at. Andre Santos coming on for Enzo Fernandez, for me, was a necessity. Because Enzo Fernandez was not having a good game at all. But this is something we can do this season. Last season, we weren't able to do that because we didn't have it. We would have brought on Dewsbury Hall. Or Gutuku. You know? Now, Andre Santos is there. So we've got these options to turn to. That's something to bear in mind as well. What I want to end on is the centre-back situation. Because Achiampong filled in well. He was okay. He was decent. Not a lightning bolt performance, but not a stinker either. But that is not something that we can just rely on game in, game out. We need to look at Tosin and see if he's how fit is he. If there's even an inkling that, okay, this could go on for a little bit, I think we have to attack the market for a central defender. I think we have to. And right now, I'm more inclined to thinking we've got to attack the market for a central defender. But there is also the thing of Badiashile is about to come back. Fofana was on the bench today, wasn't used. We're going to see what happens there. There are centre-backs, but the problem is we just don't know what's going to happen with these guys. We don't know. It could be really, really good. It could be really, really underwhelming. We don't know. That's the one thing that I think we have to pay attention to as well. But overall, I would argue we need more presence, more physicality, and we need to take the game to a team like Crystal Palace a little bit more and show a little bit more, because today we didn't. We let them get the better of us in that department, and I think it cost us the entire game in terms of winning. It cost us creating what I think we wanted to create or playing the way that we really wanted to play. I think we have to take these lessons, move them forward, utilize the players that we know have that creative ability and bring them on a little sooner, and then go from there. But we pick up a point, not the end of the world, but definitely performance could have been better. Let's just hope by West Ham, we show the difference. So let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. What did you think overall? It's a shame that we're starting off the season on this sort of tone. It's just 0-0. We didn't even get a goal. But don't panic. My message here to end is do not panic. It's day one. Day one. You know? Tottenham won 3-0. So are they winning the league? No, they're going to fall. We are going to draw games this season. We are even going to lose a few. But we're going to win a lot. So don't worry. Do not worry. And like I said, you need to give that window of 6 games or 7 games, and then we'll be able to tell where we might be heading. Up until that point, we have no idea. So no panic stations here. Chill. Don't worry. Let me know your thoughts down below. Overall, what you thought, what needed improvement, what did you see worked, what would you take into West Ham, what do you think needs to be adjusted in order for us to go to West Ham and get the 3 points? Let me know down below. Much appreciated. But I will catch all of you tomorrow for double upload. We jump right back into the news. So make sure you're here. I'll catch all of you then. Subscribe, notification bell on. And I'll see you tomorrow. In a bit, people. Look after yourselves. Take care. And peace.